What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the state of Major League Baseball at the All-Star break, including the good, the bad, and things that we need to see change. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick, All-Star Weekend is upon us, and that is the midpoint of the Major League Baseball season. We have seen a lot of great baseball played, some not so great baseball played, but nonetheless, we have the good, the bad, and the changes that we need to see. Let's take a look. I'm going to get us started off with some of the good. I have my Boston Red Sox leading the AL East, and not only leading the AL East, but leading the entire American League. The Boston Red Sox are arguably one of the best teams in all of baseball, just percentage points behind the San Francisco Giants. The Boston Red Sox, under the tutelage of Alex Cora, with this brand new system that they were able to bring in players like Kike Hernandez and Marwin Gonzalez, what they were able to do, build around Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers, JD Martinez coming in clutch as the DH, and having some incredible players on the pitching staff, all without Chris Sale, who is expected to make his comeback later on this season. I believe that the Boston Red Sox are primed to make a deep playoff run, and they have been one of the greatest storylines that we've had in baseball this year, really stepping up to the plate, really getting things going offensively, pitching-wise. Look for the Boston Red Sox because they are not going away anytime soon.
That's really good and all, but I'm going with a player for my good of the year, Shohei Ohtani, the real star of the MLB right now, a guy who has hit 31 home runs so far in the first half of the season, which is tied for the most ever home runs by a Japanese-born MLB player. And we still have another half of the year to go. Absolutely unbelievable what Shohei has been able to do as a batter. And then when you look at what he's been able to do as a pitcher as well, he's cracking home runs, but then he's also getting massive strikeouts for the Los Angeles Angels. They have been on an absolute tear because of this guy. I believe that he is the real deal. He's finally showing us just how much he is similar to Babe Ruth. I believe that Shohei Ohtani is going to be a huge surprise that continues to surprise us for the rest of the year. He has been outstanding and a real nice sight coming from the Angels.
Absolutely. So with the good does come some bad and things that we want to really hone in on and see what we can do with Major League Baseball. But starting off with my bad, it's got to be the rules that they've enacted so far. We're talking about the man on second base to start extra innings. We're talking about the sticky substance not being able to be used by pitchers. It's all bad. I mean, these rules are changing the way the game is played, the way the game is earned. And at the end of the day, I understand that the game of baseball is slow and they're trying to speed it up, and they're trying to make it more fair or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, these are things that have been done in baseball a certain way for so long, and I feel like the old guy on my porch yelling, "Get off my lawn." But the guy on second base needs to change. The sticky substances for these pitchers and catchers needs to change. You have guys that are going to throw their arms out trying to keep that ball where it is. I mean, I understand that, you don't want sticky substances on the ball, but at the end of the day, if they're not cheating, right, then what's the harm? If you're using hairspray, or if you're using, some sort of just sticky substance, that you should be able to use that. That is a competitive advantage that somebody who's smarter than the other team was able to utilize to their advantage. When you have a guy that starts off on second base, all that matters is where you are in the batting rotation, because all you need to do is hit that 1-2-3 lineup with a guy who is ninth on second base. You're going to bat him in. I mean, it's pretty easy for the 1-2-3 hitters to be able to do. When the other team is on their 6, 7, 8 hitters, and number 5, the slow guy, is sitting there on second base, a lot tougher. So it's really tough. I don't like this rule. I haven't met a single human that watches baseball, that likes this rule. I think it needs to change, but nonetheless, these are my bad for the Major League Baseball season.
And my bad for the baseball season so far. Unfortunately, it's my New York Yankees. They have just been an absolute disappointment. They've had their lows and then their highs and then even more lows throughout the season. And it just doesn't seem like it's going to be changed at all at any point this year. When you look at the way they're managed, it's piss poor. They're putting in closers when they don't need saves and they're blowing saves. And it's just poor. The offense is not there to keep up with what the offense is doing. I just think there's a lot going on, and it all stems from the general manager, the front office in general really needs to be overhauled, and that's the only way the Yankees will ever see success with the team they have right now. This team has too much talent that is being wasted. Something's got to change, but it's definitely not going to happen this season, and they're going to continue to be in this state of up and down and ending the season with a 500 record. It's just a complete disappointment from a fan's perspective and from where a team with this much talent should be. And overall, the Yankees are just an absolute disappointment this season.
All right. Now that we've gone through the good and bad, we have one more piece of this puzzle for you guys, and that would be our predictions for AL and NL MVP and AL and NL Cy Young. Let's get it kicked off with the AL MVP. Nick, I'll let you go.
So AL MVP, the guy I've talked about as a great player this year so far, Shohei Ohtani. This guy does everything spectacular. He has a 5.2 wins above replacement, has a batting average of a 278 with 31 home runs, 67 RBIs, a 366 on base percentage, a 704 slug percentage, and then as a pitcher, he's 3-1, has a 3.6 ERA with 12 games started and 60 innings pitched. This guy is the overall, he is the absolute overall weapon. He is the second coming of Babe Ruth. He's really having an outstanding season, and he's only getting stronger as the season goes on. I believe by the time when we're saying the season is over, Shohei Ohtani will still be at the top. But the only other guy that could really compete with him in the AL is Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a 4.2 wins above replacement, batting average of a 336, 27 home runs, 69 RBIs, a 438 on base percentage, and a 671 slug percentage. Vlad Guerrero has been having an outstanding season himself, but he just doesn't have that pitching aspect. I'm giving the slight edge to Ohtani for now, but it's going to be a great race coming down to the end of the season.
Then in the National League, we have quite the race between Fernando Tatis Jr. and Ronald Acuna. Starting off with Tatis, we have a 4.6 WAR wins above replacement and a 305 batting average with 26 home runs, 57 RBIs, 389 on base percentage, and 695 slugging percentage, where Ronald Acuna has a 3.0 WAR, 276 batting average, 23 home runs, 51 RBIs, 386 on base percentage, and 595 slugging. These guys are back and forth, and Tatis is the better story in my opinion. Tatis started off the season very, very slow. When you look at his first month and a half of the season, it looked like he was the ultimate disappointment. It just did not look good for him at all. And then all of a sudden something clicked. I don't know whether it was some motion in his batting stance, if it was something on the field, something in his personal life, whatever the case is, something clicked, and this guy has just been fireworks from the get-go. And at this point, he does not look like he's going to be slowing down. The Padres have been riding him high. They're going to continue to ride him. And at this point, I believe that Tatis not only has a better line for MVP, but he has the better story. And that's what baseball is about, the better story, the comeback, the underdog really rallying. And that's what Tatis was all year round. I believe that Fernando Tatis will end up with the NL MVP.
Then moving over to AL Cy Youngs, there's two guys that have really stood out to me so far this season. Garrett Cole with a 2.91 ERA and 105 innings pitched, and leading the AL with 135 strikeouts, having a great season even though the Yankees are not. And then Lance Lynn from the White Sox with a 2.02 ERA, 84.2 innings pitched, and 99 strikeouts. He has been on fire for them. He may not have pitched the same amount as other pitchers like Garrett Cole in the first half of the season, but he is pitching even better. when you go inning by inning. These guys are really going to be going after each other all the way to the end of the season. I believe that it's going to come down to really who has the better strikeouts and the lower ERA. And to me, I'm going to take Lance Lynn. I think that he is going to continue on this pace of just striking everyone out and keeping his arm healthy. To me, Garrett Cole is going to be in a lot of situations where he's going to be out there a lot more, putting himself at risk. And to me, Lance Lynn is just in the better spot. I'm going to take the prediction of Lance Lynn as AL Cy Young for the end of the year.
And then finally, we have the Cy Young Award in the National League. Taking a look at some of the best to do it so far this year, we have Jacob deGrom, obviously the GOAT right now. I mean, this guy cannot be touched. What he's doing is at an absolutely historic pace. We're talking about a 0.95 ERA with 85 innings pitched, 136 strikeouts, and don't forget that 7-2 record for the New York Mets. DeGrom has been absolutely lights out for the Metropolitans, and I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon. This guy is just an absolute phenom and arguably the best pitcher we have in baseball today. On the other hand, we have a guy, Kevin Gausman, who is recently acquired by the San Francisco Giants. The Giants really getting the most out of Gausman here with a 1.68 ERA, 101.2 innings pitched, and 116 strikeouts, an 8-2 record. This guy is absolutely phenomenal. He has helped lead the San Francisco Giants to the league best record that they currently have, and topping teams like the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. I believe that Kevin Gausman is just one of those guys that is a pillar that you look for. He is that number one ace that every team is after, and at the end of the day, between these two, DeGrom and Gausman, you can't go wrong. But I think I have to give it to DeGrom. We're talking about a historic pace. We're talking about a guy who is setting records that we never thought were even possible, and he's doing it in a time where the ball can't be used with any sticky substances. He's doing it in a time where if you go into extra innings, there's a man on second base. He's doing it in a time where the entire game is shifting around him, and it's not for the better for him. He is just absolutely defying the laws of what is happening in baseball and saying, I am going to dominate this game and I'm going to do it my way. The New York Mets better hold on to this guy because he is going to be an all-time great, and he is well on his way to doing that by winning this year's NL Cy Young. All right, with all of that in the books, that'll be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.